Everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm Izzy, and today we're answering a very interesting question. Why don't more bandsaws have slide tables on them? So I've spent quite a bit of my career in and around the furniture industry and other industries as well. And slide tables on bandsaws are actually a really commonplace thing out in the world. Why they don't put them on more bandsaws for garage guys like us, I don't know. It just increases the versatility of a bandsaw and makes it much more user-friendly. Ideally, in a slide saw situation, the bed would come right up next to the blade and it would slide next to the blade. Then there would be a support bed on the other side that was level with the top of that. Then we'd be able to put our jigs and fixtures on top of that. So that's what we're going to do with this setup, and I'm just going to use plywood for now to make this all work like I want it to.
So while I have run into a lot of bandsaws over the years in the industry that had slide tables on them, I got my start in shops that absolutely did not have anything on the bandsaw. It was the table and the blade, so no fences, no really jigs, not even a miter gauge. So mostly it was all freehand work, so I learned to cut pretty straight lines on the bandsaw freehand, both, narrow and on the face of a material for flattening it. I posted this video on Instagram the other day, and it was actually kind of the thought process up to this that was the precipice for doing this. I was like, just got this really nice 3 horsepower Rikon bandsaw, and it really made sense to make it as versatile as I possibly could and make it as user-friendly as I could, seeing how, this being Maker's Playground, we'll be having other content creators and people coming and doing classes. I wanted to make everything here as safe and as user-friendly as possible. So I decided that this would be an interesting thing to do and actually test the validity of it. So rather than building a complete system, I used the glide off the table saw on the bandsaw, which was pretty easy. I just built a box under it and bolted it to the side of the bandsaw. So to make this all work, I want the plywood to come across the top of the table to the blade and then another support piece on the other side. And I'm doing that just because it's really convenient. Speaking of convenience, let's take a minute and hear a word from our sponsor.
Today I am proud to be partnering with the Dollar Shave Club. If you're not using the Dollar Shave Club, I highly recommend you check them out. For just $5 by using the link dollarshaveclub.com/Izzy, you can try their daily face cleanser, their shave butter, and their heavy-duty razor with a cassette of 4 razor blades in it. And I'm telling you right now, if you're tired of going and paying $30 for a handful of razor blades at one of the stores, this is the way to go. Not only do they have the daily face cleanser, but they have a body cleanser. They've got hair and shampoo. There's your face cleanser. Now check this out. You want to talk about convenience? All this stuff is color coordinated. When it comes to the bathroom, they have you covered. They even have butt wipes. Really great company. Highly recommend them. Check it out. dollarshaveclub.com/Izzy. Thank you for letting me take a few seconds of your day. Let's get back to the video.
With the plywood piece installed on the slide and being right up next to the blade, really the last thing I needed to do was to add a second piece of plywood on the opposite side of the blade and then support it somehow. So I cut a piece of plywood just a little bit narrower than the throat from the blade to the stanchion on the bandsaw. Cut a little bit of a relief for the blade. This way I can still get the blade in and out without having to take any of this system off. Now I wanted a little bit of separation so the 2 pieces weren't rubbing together. So I added some pieces of paper and then used some pre-existing holes I drilled earlier to mount jigs to screw on that particular piece. Now this is just an extra piece that I screwed onto the fixed part of the table, which will give a little bit more support to that plywood hanging way out as the bandsaw slides back and forth. Then I measured up how far it was from the floor and added a foot to help support that. Now that all being said, this is really more of a temporary setup to test ideas and stuff. If this ends up being a permanent thing, which at this point I'm pretty sure it will be, I'll build a complete system or design a complete system that, you know, others could make at home as well. So for now, we're going to use this. I'm going to build a few different jigs for it and try a few different things out with it. And then at some point in the future, within the next 6 months to a year, I will build a full system for the bandsaw. Well, after everything was installed, I cleaned it up a little bit. And all the white or light colors is really washing out the sensor on my camera, so I'm definitely going to end up having to paint that. But I think for this video, I'll just go with what we've got. So really quickly, I was able to flat side, you know, a piece of walnut and take the live edge off of it. I mean, that's good enough right there to take over to the table saw and get a couple of really nice straight edges. And of course, I checked for square, which was flawless, so that was awesome. So really the next step in this process is building a couple of systems for the slide table. Now off camera, I installed a 90-degree fence that goes on top of the slide table. You'll see that here in a second. Now that comes in handy for a lot of operations, but I wanted to make it more versatile. So if you had something per se, a natural piece of wood or a chunk of firewood that you wanted to cut up into usable material, I thought it would be cool to build a couple different systems to make that really easy. Now the first one was just a really simple, 90-degree miter gauge that you can lay on there and butt pieces up against and get a nice straight edge. Now the second one is for ripping with the pieces standing up, so resawing, flat facing, whatever you want to call it. This piece just sits against that 90-degree fence in the back, slides back and forth, and then I can use my $10 million stick to hold parts down. Now I'm going to build more permanent fixtures for this. Right now I'm just kind of testing all the little ins and outs of it. But honestly, this was probably the best upgrade I've done to a tool in my shop in a very long time. The possibilities of things that could be done with this just instantly took this bandsaw to a new heights, new level. I want to say a lot of these things could be accomplished by building a jig for the table saw, or for the bandsaw. By putting the slide table on it, you make all of those things much easier to build, and they're just add-ons.
Honestly, I think this is the best upgrade I've done to a tool, maybe ever. Adding this slide to this particular bandsaw has been absolutely amazing. The ideas are they're just crazy how many ideas I've had already in just a day or so that I've had this on here. I won't need a joiner in my shop because of this. I can flat side and face anything I need to on this saw. Now typically I don't do anything over 4 feet in length anyway when I'm doing most of my furniture builds. If I do end up doing a large casing or a table, I have other options like track saws and any other options. So there's really no need for a joiner in my shop. Joiners are expensive, they're scary, and I'm really happy that this is done. Between this and a couple other things, there's no need for me to have one. So I'm thrilled about that. Now, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg here. There are so many applications for this particular setup, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I know it's probably not the most exciting video ever, but in the shop, potentially this has so much application. It could replace a lot of other tools in the shop. It could do a lot of other things in the shop that would otherwise be really difficult or time consuming and just make them really fast. So if you can't tell, I'm excited. Definitely be seeing this in upcoming videos, more jigs, more fixtures, more ideas on how we can use this. But for now, I think we're going to call that quits for the day. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have ideas for this, or maybe you don't, maybe you disagree, maybe you don't think this is the best application for a slide saw, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section below, especially if you've got some experience with bandsaws and other equipment. I really appreciate when you guys take the time to, share your thoughts. So I'll be watching the comments section. I'd be happy to respond to all the good stuffs. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell notification next to the subscribe button so you get notified when my videos come up. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and we'll be talking to you later.